So that brings us to the end of Module 2. And in Module 2, we've talked through these two different parts. In Part 1, you talked about setting events, and in Part 2, we've thrown a lot of vocabulary at you and talked about shaping, chaining, prompting, stimulus control, and the phases of learning. We encourage you to take some time to digest all of this information, practice it, look for examples in the environment in which you work, become really fluent with it, because we're going to build on it as we move forward in these modules. Let's take a quick review of where we've been. You know that the antecedents, behaviors, and consequences are the basic building blocks of behavior. The behavior, they're all observable and measurable. The behavior is the thing that an individual does. The antecedents is the thing that comes just before it or triggers that behavior, and the consequence is the thing that comes afterwards and is contingent on that behavior. In this module, we added on the idea of setting events that are an additional antecedent condition that temporarily alter the value of the consequences. They might make it more reinforcing or less reinforcing to engage in a particular behavior because a setting event is present. We also talked about all of these different teaching procedures. When we're trying to think about teaching simple behaviors or improving the performance of behaviors, we might use shaping. When we're thinking about teaching complex behaviors, we're going to use task analysis and chaining. And when we want to think about helping a student select when to use a particular behavior, we're going to use a procedure called stimulus control, or establishing stimulus control. And then prompting is an additional strategy that we can add to the environment to make it more likely that a student's going to engage in the appropriate behavior, make it more likely that they're able to receive reinforcement. So those are all of the different procedures that we talked about. And then we talked about the fact that we're going to apply those across the phases of learning. And the idea of we're going to want to move from acquisition towards fluency, towards maintenance, and finally towards generalization with all of the instruction that we engage in for students. And that our ultimate goal is really that they are able to generalize a new skill to new environments or to new novel situations. And that brings us to the end of Module 2. Congratulations, you made it through. Use Module 2 quiz that's available for you to help you self-assess which of these terms and which of these procedures and concepts you have a good understanding of, and which ones you might want to take some more time to go back and study. Remember, it's just a self-assessment. Use it to guide your own learning. Use the additional resources folder in the readings to help deepen your understanding, and reach out to your coach and colleagues if you have additional questions.